Well, hello, quilting friends. Happy Feature Friday, everybody. I hope y'all have had a wonderful week and might be looking forward to something fun this weekend, or maybe with the holidays coming up, we've got decorating to do or projects to work on. I know that I do. Today, I want to go over the channel locks that we've got on our mid-level and top-of-the-line robotic system and show you a little bit of some work that I'm doing with it. I am practicing because I have something I want to do on a quilt, but it's definitely something that I need to work with a little bit before I put it on something that I put a lot of time in. So you're seeing me on just plain fabric today. It's kind of a filler, but I'm going to be using my different channel locks to fill in the space. So I'm going to show you that just so you get an idea of what I'm looking at and what I want to do, and maybe spark some ideas for yourself. Because I use channel locks in a lot of different ways. Sometimes I'll just do straight line quilting, whether it's vertical or horizontal, just to get a quilt done pretty quick. And with having those built-in channel locks, it's nice because it's just the touch of a button and you have these great straight lines available to you on your quilt without having to use rulers or manual locks on your machine. You can do grid quilting, which is really nice. I like to do that if I'm quilting fabric for like the bottom of a handbag or tote bag that I'm making. Cross hatching can look really beautiful on quilts. You can use your diagonal channel locks for that. So there's lots of wonderful uses for it, and I'm kind of doing a filler quilting with my different channel locks, and it's just taking me some time to get in the rhythm of using the channel locks, switching back and forth between them to fill in the space. So I wanted to share just kind of how to use the channel locks so that everybody gets a good feel for it, and just show you what I had planned. So I'm going to turn you guys around, we'll go over our channel locks, and I'm going to show you what I'm working on. Everybody needs to practice, including me. It doesn't come naturally. We all have to learn a little bit and get comfortable with things. All right, turn around. And here we are on our Butler Robotics screen. I do have you guys on a tripod today so that I have both hands to be able to touch my screen and move my machine back and forth. So our channel locks on our mid-level and top-of-the-line Butler Robotics are located in our home screen. You can see home is highlighted on the top left hand of our display. And over here on the right-hand side of our display, we have our channel locks. Our top one is our horizontal channel lock. And if I highlight that, we cannot move our machine from right to left. It is locked into place. We can only move it forward and backward in that location. So that's our horizontal. We can't move our machine horizontally. If we touch our vertical channel lock, which is the second one, we get the opposite effect. I cannot move my machine forwards and back. I can only move it from right to left. Then we have a diagonal channel lock, and when you engage your diagonal channel lock, you get to lock your machine so that you stitch a lovely straight line on a diagonal. And to get your diagonal degree that you want to stitch on, you have a little degree reading here. It starts out at 0, and when you touch on it and open it up, you have a keypad, so you can put in whatever degree that you'd like. So if you want a 60-degree angle, you can put in 60 and hit your check mark, and that little sign here changes to 60. And that's going to allow you to do your channel lock on a 60 degree. So if I turn off my vertical and turn on my diagonal, my 60-degree angle is going to be locked in place going from the left to the right. But if I want a 60-degree angle going from the right to the left, I have to do something different. I can open that up and I can type in 60 with a minus after it and hit my check mark. And it is now going to give me a lock in the opposite direction. And now my 60 degree is going to go from the right to the left. So just remember that. You've got your angles from left to right in regular numbers and your angles from right to left in your negative numbers. And that'll take a minute to sink in because it did for me and I still have trouble with that. So you've got your angles here and you just open them up and type in the degrees. It'll also come around so that -60 converted itself to 120. So you can keep that in mind too. If you're someone who's great with math and can do that easily, but that is not my strong point either. People in quilting world, I am sorry. I've been doing math my whole life. I can do fractions for quilts and I can't add two numbers very easily in my head. Who else is with me out there? All right, so we are going to go ahead. I'm just going to put in a 45-degree angle because that's easy for me to just have sitting up there on the screen. We are going to look at our channel locks as they stitch out. So I am going to hopefully not have my whole body blocking the camera or the handlebars blocking the camera as we try to do this. So I'm going to first use my horizontal channel lock. So I'm going to come up here to kind of just the top of my quilting space. I'll pull my bobbin thread up and I still have full range of moving my machine around. I am going to do a tie off just so that this stays in place and it's good habit for me. And now I'm going to engage my horizontal channel lock. Remember, when that's engaged, I cannot move my machine from left to right. I can only move it forward and backwards from the point where I'm at. So now that that's engaged, I can hit my start button and I can run a straight line forward and backward. When I'm done, I can just turn my stitching off. I can tie off if I like, and I'll release and be able to move and pull my bobbin thread up as I like. When your channel lock is engaged, you truly are stuck in that lock position, so you can't move your machine freely to pull your bobbin thread up and things like that. So you need to make sure when you need to do that, you disengage your channel lock. And if you can see, let me move my tail here, we have a perfect vertical line. We're going to do the opposite now, and we're going to go and do a horizontal line, and we do that by engaging our vertical channel lock. So I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread, do my tie off, and now from this point I'm going to engage my vertical channel lock. I cannot move the machine forward and backward. I can only move it from left to right and right to left. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my stitching on. And now I can move horizontally across my quilt. When I'm done, I can just turn off my stitching. I like to tie off. I'm going to disengage my channel locks, and that way I can move my machine freely so I can pull up my bobbin thread. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my tail here. Now I use my horizontal channel locks a lot, and I'm going to see if I can get this a little bit closer so that you can see. Let me get that tail out of the way. So there's our horizontal line that we just stitched, but if you'll notice up here, I've got a horizontal line too. I use the horizontal channel locks a lot to put horizontal lines down when I'm laying my quilt down into place. So I'll stitch a line to put my batting in place, then I'll lay my quilt top down, I'll stitch that. I use these a lot. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our diagonal channel locks. So I'm just gonna start over here. We'll start down at the bottom of this little, let me back you guys up, of the line that we stitched when we went forward and backward, or our vertical line. I'm going to do a tie off here. So we've got our 45-degree angle located right here. Let me see if I can get that all in frame. Our 45-degree angle here on our channel lock. Remember, at a regular 45-degree angle, we're going to move from left to right. So I'm going to start here and move up towards the right back end of my quilting area. We're going to engage our channel lock, and I'm going to start my stitching. And now I am making a nice little diagonal line. I'm going to turn my stitching off, do my tie off, And I got so close. If I had stitched this out a little bit farther, I would have made a perfect little triangle, y'all. I'm gonna turn my channel lock off so that I can pull my machine where I need to pull my bobbin thread up to the surface. And I really love that you get these diagonal lines with this system, because I love doing quilting. We have star blocks and half square triangles in our quilts, and you can do this pretty diagonal channel lock stitching when you've got things like that in your quilt top. So now we need to go in the opposite direction of this diagonal line, and we want to create a diagonal line going in the opposite direction. So to do that, remember I said that we needed to go to the negative angle of our 45. So we can open that up and we can type in 4, 5 and put a minus there and hit our check mark. And now we've got a negative 45-degree angle. So I am going to just move the machine before I start stitching. I'm going to line it up with the top of my triangle here. I'm going to put my channel lock on so that it moves down into place without stitching. I'm going to kind of try to line it up a little bit so I just get a super giant triangle here. That's probably okay. I'm going to turn it off so that I can pull up my bobbin thread. So I'm going to recenter you guys. You get a little bit bigger of a view here. I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up, move my machine out of the way, take my tie-off stitches, turn my channel lock on, and remember when I'm in the negative, I'm moving from right to left. So when I turn on my stitching, I am going to be moving from right to left to create this angle. And now that I am at the top of my triangle, I am going to turn my channel lock off, I'm going to turn my stitching off, and I am going to tie off and pull my bobbin thread up. Well, I got pretty close there. It wasn't exact, but I got a really good diagonal line. So let's see if I can get a full picture here for you guys to see. So we have a nice straight vertical line, a nice straight horizontal line, and then our two diagonal lines going in opposite directions. So it can be a whole lot of fun using all of your different channel lock options. And let me show you kind of what I had in mind and what I'm working on practicing with so that I can put it on a quilt. So using my different channel locks, I just want to create random filler. You can see this one here and this one here are two different 45-degree angle channel locks. I put different spacing between the lines here than I did up here. This little patch up here, I think those were 65-degree angles that I filled in with. We've got our horizontal lines here and our vertical lines here. So I think it would be really cool to use the different channel lock features, fill in a whole quilt top that way. I think it would look very modern and very cool depending on what the quilt top actually was. This may not be appropriate for everything. Y'all know I do a wide variety of styles of quilts, but I think this would be a really neat idea. This is definitely something that I'm having to take my time with and really practice getting things lined up as I'm coming with my stitching on top of other stitching. That's where I need a little bit of practice with y'all. So we'll see how that goes, and I will let you know if I actually get a project done. So there we are. There is a good little refresher course on all of your channel locks and how to use them and what they actually do. I think it's great to have them available on your robotic system. I'm not great with ruler work, and I definitely would find it difficult to constantly flip latches on of my carriage. So I am so thankful that I've got the channel locks built into my system, and I definitely use them for all kinds of things. You could can really be creative with them. So whether you're doing horizontal or vertical straight line stitching, you're creating cross hatching, or you get adventurous like I'm trying to be, use this channel locks and have fun with them. I hope y'all have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon. Bye now.